So I want to kind of get into the Cowboys season a little bit. Didn't really go as planned. Obviously had a major ankle injury to Dak Prescott. New coach. As of recently, they basically have a new defensive coordinator and Dan Quinn. What have been your
Yeah.
thoughts on this, the whole Cowboys season as a whole?
Well, the timing couldn't have been worse. If it had to been for those guys in Washington, you'd say there's no way that a team can have a new coach and a new quarterback and not have an off season and still have any kind of success. And then the Redskins or the football team, they'll always
They
be
need
the
a nickname.
Redskins.
I can't. I don't know how much longer I can go on with football team.
They will always be the Redskins to me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Zach. So the over/under is 27 when it comes to how many times I'll say Redskins on a broadcast. But they kind of proved us right. I mean, they whipped us and under the very, very similar circumstances. But what a crazy year to try to change administrations, if you will. Both politically and football wise.
I have a question. So Prescott went down early. Do you still have faith that he's the guy long term?
Yeah, I do. Dak has got, he checks all the boxes. He's got a couple of little throwing issues that are minor that can be corrected. To be honest with you, I'm not so sure that with his contract situation and everything that was going on, that injury wasn't a blessing for Dak. He got a chance to sit back, watch things from a distance during a crazy year. And I think he's going to be better than ever when he comes back next year.
So I have a question. So the defense was kind of an issue going into the beginning of the year. I know they were struggling a bit, and they do have a lot of guys that they recently brought. They lost Byron Jones, but they did make some extensions. Jalen Smith, Demarcus Lawrence. If I made you GM of the Cowboys for a day, you could do anything you wanted, what would be some of the first things you'd try to fix?
Well, I'd continue to work on that secondary a little bit, I think. But when you look on paper, and I said this at the start of the season, other than the cornerback position, on paper, this team was loaded, and the linebackers, I thought they had the best linebacking group maybe in the league, and yet they were so bad against the run that completely blew me away. I thought they were good up front. I think they made some off-season moves that were strange, but that's Jerry. Jerry's kind of become the halfway house for NFL free agents. A lot of guys come in there that have had issues in the past, but when you sign a guy like Don Terry Poe that's been with 4 teams in the last 5 years, that's got to tell you something. And I think Jerry would admit that was just a bad move. And there were some others. Clinton Dix, took some money
Washington
from him.
legend. Washington legend for like 6 games.
Yeah, never played it down. And there were Everson Griffin. So there were some moves on the defensive side of the ball that were a little bit puzzling. I think that hurt them a little bit early on. When they got rid of those guys, got them out of the locker room, I think I saw an improvement in energy at least. Now they still had to catch on to the system, and I think there were problems with that because guys just weren't in their gaps. And the guy that suffered the most was Jalen Smith.
Yeah.
When the nose tackle gets cut off by the center and the guard can get up on the middle linebacker, Jalen can't do his job. And I think it made him look bad. And there were some issues going on there. And I think it turned into some chemistry issues. But I think they're on the right track. I think that's going to get corrected. I think Dan Quinn's going to have a lot to do with that.
Yeah. I have a question. When they took CeeDee Lamb, knowing they already just extended Cooper and you already had a up-and-comer in Michael Gallup, were you shocked at that pick, or did you kind of see it coming?
I was a little bit surprised at the time after watching him play this year. I'm not surprised. CeeDee's a guy, though, he's like a lot of high-strung receivers that want the ball.
Yeah.
That's a good problem to have, but it can also be a problem in that sometimes they tend to pout a little bit if they don't get the ball early and often. There were some games when I thought CD was pouting a little bit. I think being around Amari is going to help him a lot to grow up, to become more of a professional, and I think he will. In fact, I think I saw him improve just during the one season that he was there. So CD Lamb is going to be an unbelievable receiver in the league, and so I'm looking forward to him having a full off season, a real off season, and coming back next year.
And then so going into next season, who do you think's the team to beat in the NFC East?
Wow. That's I mean, I'd have to say the Cowboys, but
Interesting.
I would have said that this year too. But you know,
Yeah.
with their base, with what they've got going,
Yeah.
and add a couple of pieces, they got a couple of young DBs, okay, that are going to have a year under their belts,
Yeah.
that played pretty well this year, and that are going to just get better. Yeah, I think if they can improve the secondary just a little bit, and it may not take a personnel change. It may just be a year of off season and preseason and training camp will be all they need, because on paper they're really strong.
And I got one last current Cowboys question for you. Do you think Mike McCarthy is the guy long term, or do you think they're just evaluating him as a stopgap?
Yeah, I don't think there's any way to say, Zach. I mean, I'm telling you, um, with everything that was going on this year, the thing that concerns me is there were times when I didn't feel like the effort was there. And, you know, but not being able to coach those guys in person, face to face, I just don't know how you can judge any coach
That's fair.
under those circumstances. So let's chalk that up to experience, and let's see what happens next year.